Hi everyone, welcome to the 9th episode of the ESSB Honors Podcast. I am Nesrine Hamida, I am a psychology student, and today I am here with Ellie Cercel, who is also a psychology student, and we will share with you our experience in the honors program and specifically our internships. So I'd like to start with Ellie. Would you tell us how you have experienced the honors program this year?
Hello, everyone, and hi, Nesrine, and thank you for such a beautiful introduction to our podcast. In terms of my experience with the honors program, I think it has just provided me with so many academic aspects in one. Mainly, it was a good experience with the research aspect, and this is also why I applied to this program. So I am incredibly excited to have had this experience. But outside of the research track, I've enjoyed the networking opportunity, and with that, also the discussions that we've had in our meetings. What I usually take away from the discussion is the challenging of my prior schemas. So, from all the brainstorming that we've done, there's always a lot of opinions being thrown to the table, and I leave the meetings so enriched but also so empowered. And also on the networking aspect, I have met through this program so many wonderful people, intelligent, creative, beautiful people inside and out that were happy to share their experiences with us. How about yourself? What did you think of the honors program?
Yeah, I thought the honors program was really engaging and it offered a lot of different perspectives that we do not get in our regular bachelor programs because there's only so much you can talk about in a certain topic and in a certain block. And that was really a plus from the honors program. And personally, my favorite sessions were the ones with the psychedelics with Josian. Those were really enlightening. They brought so much new information to me that I had not thought of before. And also the session hosted by Dr. Irene, which introduced us to the relationship between climate change and capitalism, climate change and colonialism, and how they all interact with each other, and how they brought us to this moment here in time where we have to fight climate change. And I thought that it was very interesting and a much needed new perspective to look at. So that was, yeah, I was really glad that we had those new topics, and well, not so new topics, but rather new views about them, and the critical comments and the critical opinions that just make you think, okay, maybe I need to reconsider my opinion, and reconsider how I view things. So yeah. So also we mentioned the research that we did, the research internships, and I would like to ask you, what was the topic of your research internship?
Of course, of course. So, I am interning currently in a research program within the cognitive psychology field. And the sub area that I'm working in is psychoaesthetics. So, psychoaesthetics is the study of the psychological aspects of aesthetic perception. So, for this project, we investigated whether aesthetic appreciation is prone to intra individual differences. And we did that by analyzing the extent to which aesthetic preferences of photographs are stable over a period of time. In this case, it was 2 weeks. And these inter-individual differences were then examined based on complexity of interestingness and soothingness of the pictures that we presented to our participants. So that was very, very exciting in itself, and it was a great approach to research because we took one idea, one concept from A, and then took it through all the stages of empirical research. How about yourself, though? How was your experience with your internship?
So my internship was about harnessing innovative technologies for healthy lifestyle behavior change. And basically it is in the public health sector, but it also joins with the M Health sector, which means the mobile health, and it is a new, well, kind of new area in which we harness mobile applications to improve the lives of people. So think, for example, Fitbit or the apps that you download on your phone, so you could see how many steps you did, or track your workouts, track your calorie intake, things like that. But it's also used in the medical field for people, for example, with cardiovascular health issues, or going to the GP, and it's a really interesting field. And what we did was, well, my supervisor, Lee Tong, she's a researcher at the University of Sydney, and I worked with her on her research about how a mobile app could help you improve your health. And the way it worked is that it tracks your steps. So you can track yourself while going on a walk around the neighborhood or something. And then it kind of accumulates in a week. And then it sends you some prompt like, okay, you did really good this week. You achieved your step count. So good for you. And if you did not achieve that step count or your goal, then it asks you what was the issue. So what was the obstacle that you ran into, which was really interesting because it forces the participant or the person using it to kind of reflect on his own actions and reflect on what was the problem, what made me not achieve my goal. And from that, you get a set of statements that you choose. The obstacle that you ran into, like I said, and then it gives you kind of suggestions, so what you could do next time to overcome that. And we also did some other work about COVID and how it impacted the lives of people, their physical activity mainly, and yeah, it was a very diverse internship. And speaking of that, I want to ask you what your main tasks were, because I know that going into the internship the first time, I did not know what it was going to be about and what we were going to do and stuff like that. It was very ambiguous. So, for our listeners, what were your tasks, Ellie?
That is actually such a good question to ask at this point because, as I've mentioned before, my research or the research that I participated in went from A to Z, right? So we took one idea and then developed it empirically in what is supposed to be the report writing phase. I was also just like you, not expecting anything and expecting everything at once when we started the internship. Had no clue what an internship would entail in the research sector. The core of my project was conducting an experiment, right? And because of COVID, we did employ an online experiment, which was done through Qualtrics. All the tasks that I was assigned to were empirical in nature, and they were all converging towards integrating the findings into one study, as I think most traditional research is like and looks like. I had no idea this is what was going to happen, but my supervisor, Stephen Verheyen, was very nice in guiding me and my colleague along the way. So to go more in depth, my tasks were, stimulus selection, implementing the experiment through Qualtrics, then collecting the data of the participants, and then eventually data analysis. We did not get to the report writing phase, nor did we do any literature search for now, because this is still a pilot study, and we've left it at an exploratory phase for now. When I started this, and as I was actually going along with the research and with the tasks, I realized that some parts were familiar to me from my bachelor. So I had nothing to worry about in the beginning in terms of not knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because in the end, the prior knowledge that I had was extremely helpful. Say SPSS, say Qualtrics, really useful experience from my second year of bachelor and first year of bachelor. And then with the help of my supervisor, like I said, Stephen, we were able to go more in depth with the tasks, and we explored other types of analysis and other types of, implementing an online experiment. that I had not been accustomed to before. I had no experience prior.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I was lacking that prior experience, I was still able to learn with the help of weekly meetings with my supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what I'm trying to get at in the end, I'm trying to explain to our listeners that you will enter this world of research without having any, you know, without thinking you have sufficient prior knowledge maybe, but then exiting it with so much empowerment and so much guidance from your supervisors.
Exactly.
Was it the same with you?
It was certainly the same with me. I was very scared at the beginning because in the contract that I had with my supervisor, there were a list of things, of tasks that I had to do that I had no idea how to do. And I kept freaking out because I thought that I was inadequate or underqualified for it. But like you said, the most important thing is that you have a supervisor that will guide you through it and not just someone that you feel like you work under in a sense. Because at the end of the day, this is a learning experience. You're going to learn how research is conducted and you're going to fail, but also you're going to learn new things and be guided towards achieving good results. Even if you feel like you cannot do it, your supervisor is there to help you and to teach you. And for me, my tasks ranged in a lot of ways. I started with screening literature, so screening papers. We were working first on the personalization of mHealth apps, so how they can be tailored to the person himself or herself, themselves. And also then we started working on the main research that my supervisor Lee is working on, which is the app and how it helps people. My second task was working on the interviews that my supervisor conducted with the participants from her research study. So my task was to work on the NVivo files. I've never heard of NVivo before. So it's used for qualitative analysis, qualitative research. And what I did was code the important information and the important themes from the interviews. So to get like an important, like a clear picture about what is the most important part in everything that the participants have said and whether they have things in common, things that they do not agree on. And I said that I did not know what NVivo was, but my supervisor obviously guided me. She gave me all the information that I needed so I can work my way through it. And that's, like we said, that's what an internship entails. You will learn, like working your way through it. Also, I worked on a poster, which was a very nice experience. I've never did that before. I worked on a poster. I conducted several literature searches regarding different topics in the public health sector and like physical activity, diets, and COVID, obviously. It was very interesting to see the diverse range of the public health area because I had no idea about it before. And I feel like it is really important what this research is doing because we know that not everyone has access to, for example, gyms or to have like green spaces and go out a lot. And also not everyone has the luxury of going and coming to a near doctor or something like that. It's not very easy for everyone. So harnessing the mobile technologies to give people more choices, to give people alternatives, to be more autonomous. That is, I feel like it's a very important thing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So now that you've shared all your tasks, I would really want to know what you liked and what you didn't like about your research in the end.
Yeah. So, what I enjoyed so much is the numerous insightful ideas that I got from, especially from the data that we analyzed, because we came across this idea where people wanted to have more personalization in their app. So, for example, if you would go by a place one time and your location is on, the app could tell you, the app would like store it and then would tell you again that, hey, maybe you should try that again, you know? And what it entails is that it gets the data from you, which is a very sensitive topic with a lot of people.
Definitely.
So it's like a personalization and privacy paradox. So would you like give up some of your privacy to get more personalization, or would you not? And that was very interesting. And the second thing is how important like the social aspect is in everything we do, because there was, even in the app, and even if people, because it had like social aspect to it, so like a timeline, people could post stuff and say, hey, look at me, I completed like a 10K run today or something. And it was really interesting to see that the social comparison played a big part in who people liked to follow. And that just shows how this area specifically of research takes away from a lot of places. It doesn't just take from the health research, but also from psychology. And it really showed me that psychology is omnipresent in everything, and you can use it really to understand a lot of things and a lot of behaviors in diverse areas. That's what I liked. That's a lot. What I didn't like, though, is perhaps the literature searches necessarily, because it does get tiring. Like you go down like a rabbit hole of research papers and everything.
You do.
And it takes a long time sometimes, especially if the research you're doing is kind of new. So there isn't a lot of things you can reference. So it does get a little bit tiring then. Yeah. What about you?
I have to say, I personally have so many mixed feelings about this. I went into research thinking research is going to be my life path, and I expected to love every single second of my experience in the internship. Spoiler, that was not the case. So I have to say, I did thoroughly enjoy working under the supervision of Stephen and with my research team. The weekly meetings were something that I was looking forward to because we were sharing ideas, because we were keeping the academic talk and the personal talk combined in those meetings. And with that atmosphere in mind, I was able to learn so much about conducting quantitative research, working with quantitative data. I've really enjoyed learning more and more about Qualtrics. It was an area that I was scared to approach it because it seemed very program-like.
Yeah.
But then when you get into it and with the right guidance, I think that was my favorite task at the end of the day. And the most fruitful experience has to be when you see that experiment that you did ends up on the university platform for students to work with.
That must be a proud moment.
It was the highlight of the whole research. And now moving on to the things that I didn't really like.
Yeah.
So as I said in the beginning, I wanted to do research for the rest of my career, and now after a year of working in an internship, I arrived at the conclusion that I do not want to do this. I actually enjoy practical work more so than this academic work. And I also can't say I'm happy with the field that I chose. In the beginning of my year, I was set on cognitive psychology as being, my utmost dream. But then as I progressed through the field, I realized this is not for me. It's too abstract as of now, and I'm, again, a practical person and wish to have immediate results to my work. So this has been my experience right now.
Yeah. It's really interesting to see that we do not only go into research to confirm that we would like to do research, but it can have the complete opposite result. And you end up seeing or feeling like, yeah, I don't think this is for me and I would like to do something else, which is really important because it gives you experience. Even if you do not like it, you've gained something from it. You've gained new knowledge, you've gained new insights, and you've gained new friends, new people that you know, and it's a really good experience.
Definitely.
Yeah, and you said that for the future you would like to do something more practical.
Precisely. Looking forward, I would like to move away from the abstraction of academia and be more hands-on. First of all, I know cognitive psychology is not for me now,
Yeah.
and I would more so like to focus on the legal and forensic subfield. And in terms of career opportunities, I decided I will not conduct research until I have decided that there are questions that I cannot answer in my practical day-to-day job. And so that would entail returning to research in like 10 to 15 years time, when I'm ready to explore things and topics on my own, but not under the supervision of, somebody else's dream, somebody else's passion. That is my plan for the future. How about yourself?
Well, like I said, it's been really insightful, and I personally didn't come into this research internship because I loved research. Actually, I did it because it's a mandatory thing at first, and my opinion did not change. I am not the person who would like to do research. But I did come out with a lot of respect to my supervisor and to researchers in general, because it is such a difficult and exhausting process to do. The amount of knowledge you have to know and the amount of tasks that you have to do, it's very draining, and I know it's also very fulfilling in that sense. But I have a lot of respect for them, and especially for my supervisor, because it's been a hard year for everyone because of Corona. And of course, she's in Sydney, so our meetings have like 9 hours time zone difference, which was very tiring for the both of us. But she helped me enormously. She was one of the kindest and most intelligent people I've met. And she gave me space when I was burned out. That was really important to me. But nevertheless, this ignited my interest in the public health sector, and especially since I'm doing psychology, obviously, I'm really interested in how I can harness that knowledge to help communities in general, to help the public. So I am, yeah, looking forward to see where this path takes me with mental health and with public health. So yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. And it's so interesting that both of us had similar yet so different experiences.
Yeah.
One of us went into it without having any idea what will happen and realizing that's the field for her. And then the other one was like, no, I want to do this field, and then completely changed their opinion once the research was over.
Yeah, it's such an individual experience, yet it can differ on so many levels for everyone. Yeah.
Exactly. And that being said, thank you so much for listening to our podcast, 9th episode of the ESSB Honors Podcast. I was Ellie Cercel, joined with Nesrine Hamida, and we've loved to share our experiences with you about our research internship and the program itself. Thank you very much, stay safe, and take care.
Bye.